Hey, I'm Lauren from TastePC.tv and today I'm doing a review of Monsoon's range of fittings. So let's get started. Starting with Monsoon straight compression fittings, they're made of brass and do look really sexy. I've got a 1310 gold one here and I use these in my 900E build, but they are also available in 3 other sizes and 9 other colours, which I'll cover in a minute. But you do have the option of either getting them separately like this or in a pack of 6, which is cheaper. And if you get in a pack of 6, they come with this tool which allows you to tighten both the base and the compression part of the fitting. But I do find this tool pretty kind of, fiddly and annoying to use. And I found with these fittings anyway, that they do grip so well that if you end up using the tool, you probably will just end up over tightening them. And that can be as problematic as not having them done up tight enough. But regardless of whether you buy them separately or in a pack of 6, each fitting comes with 2 silicone O-rings. One in black and one in a very similar colour to the fitting, and you just put these on around here and that kind of makes the waterproof seal between the fitting and the port. But looking at the base of the fitting, you can see that it doesn't excessively narrow like I have seen with other fittings, which can cause unnecessary flow resistance, which is great. And also the top compression part of the fitting is actually different to any fitting I've used before because it's got these holes here which allow you to see either the coolant or tubing inside, which I do really love. But the fittings are available in either 1310, 1610, 1611 or 1913, and you can get them in either matte black, black chrome, chrome, gold, orange, red, purple, blue, green or white. And Monsoon have really based their entire fittings range around these colours, making sure you can get the exact look you're going for, and I really do love that they've done this. So on top of the standard compression fittings, ModMyToys have modified Monsoon's fittings to add this little carbon fibre strip, and I have to say I do really love these and I'd really like to use them in a loop. I could see them going really well in my bright pink Corsair 600T with Alpha Cool's prototype carbon fibre imitation rads if they would make them, and I think it just looked really cool and funky and hot. But I can see a lot of people not liking these, thinking maybe they look a bit chavvy or tacky or anything like that. But I have to say I can also see, and I'd really love to use them in more of a sophisticated rig. I could imagine something like a black fractal design R4 with maybe black tubing and black rotaries, and it all just looking really sleek and stealthy and kind of understated and really professional. And then rather than just using standard black fittings, having the black fittings with a thin red carbon strip, I think that could really add something special to the loop and to the rig without it looking, chavvy or over the top. So I do have to say that I do really love these, and I can see a way for them to go well with both kind of the funky over the top rigs, but also the more minimalistic stylish rigs as well. Next we have Monsoon's Rotary fittings, and these are available in the same 10 different colours as the compression fittings, and at 45 or 90 degree angles. They do use G1 core inch threads, meaning they are the industry standard and compatible with the majority of water cooling parts. And you can get them in either 13, 16 or 19mm. But because they do use G1 core inch threads, it means that if you wanted to, you could use them with say a different size Monsoon fitting or a Bitspower or an Alpha Cool fitting, and they still work completely fine. But at the back of the 90 degree ones, and I think the bigger 45 degree ones, not the 13mm one though, you've got this small recessed bit which you can either leave blank or buy an accent disc for. And the accent discs are basically small coloured discs which you can buy separately, and they come with 2 double-sized sticky pads, and it just allows you to add that little bit of extra customisation to the fitting, which I do really love. But they're available in the same 10 different colours as the rest of the range, and apparently ModMyToys have done a black carbon one, which is cool, but I do really love these because they do just allow you to add once again that little bit of extra customisation. Although at £1 per accent disc, it means if you are going to do this, and you are going to be using quite a few rotaries, it can add up to be quite expensive. Next we have Monsoon's light port fittings, and these are open-ended 45 and 90 degree angled fittings which allow you to use with either a light port or a temperature sensor. And these are available in either 16 or 19mm, use G1 core inch threads, and are available in the same 10 different colours as the rest of the range. Another thing that Monsoon sell is screw plugs or blanking plates, and these are once again available in the 10 different colours, come with 2 rubber O-rings, and are great for things like swapping out the copper plugs if you're going to be walking on your office cards, or if you're going with a thicker radiator and you've got more than 2 ports, so you want to change one of the copper blanking plates or screw plugs there. But another thing that I noticed you could do with these is use them with the light ports in the same way as you use the accent discs with the normal Rotaries. Even though this is more expensive to do, I think it looks massively better and gives it this really like a unique look. And if I had the money to do it, I would love to do this in a loop myself. Although it'd mean that I'd have to use thicker tubing than the 1310, which I normally prefer to use, as obviously they don't do the light ports in 13mm. So we then have the light port modules themselves, and these obviously also use G1-4" threads, meaning that not only can you use them with the light port Rotaries, but you can also use them with your res or really any relevant spare port. But each pack comes with 2 LEDs, one with a more focused 8-degree angled beam and one with a wider 90-degree angled beam, and both of the LEDs are powered by Molex and have this really sexy braided cable. Now there are 5 different colour LEDs, one in orange, one in red, purple, blue, green and white. Although the light ports seem to be sold by colour of the actual light port bit itself, rather than the colour of the LED. For example, this is the matte black one. So because of that, it means 5 of the light ports all have blue LEDs. The matte black one, the black chrome one, the chrome, the gold and obviously the blue one. But it seems that the colour of the cable of the LED already connected to the light port matches the colour of the LED. So with this one, obviously it's got blue cable, it's got a blue LED, and if you got a red light port, it would have a red cable and obviously a red LED. But if you are going to be using the light ports in your loop, I'd recommend going for a thinner coolant, because I imagine it will be easier for the light to pass through than something like Mayhem's coolant. So we then have the temperature sensors, and these once again use G1-4" threads, meaning you can use them with your res or any relevant spare port, as well as with the light port Rotaries, just like with the light port modules. But these are also available in the 10 different colours, this one being matte black, and they've all got a really nice long braided black cable, and they work with any compatible fan controller or device. But the plug body is made of solid brass, and the probe itself is made of a high quality stainless steel, and they've been thermally separated for more accurate readings. And then lastly, in Monsoon's G1-4" speciality range, we've got Anti-Bacterial silver cartridges. And these have been designed to go into your res, although it looks like they might fit into the light port Rotaries. However, I'd imagine that would seriously restrict the flow of your coolant, so it's not something I'd personally do. But these just remove bacteria and algae etc. from your loop, meaning that you don't have to buy additives for your coolant. And also because how small this is, I imagine it'd be a lot cheaper postage and packaging wise from a lot of places buying this rather than a big bottle of additives. And then while I'm on the subject of pricing, I wanted to say that if you are going to be doing a loop with Monsoon fittings, unfortunately it is going to be quite expensive. But then comparing a standard Monsoon compression fitting versus a Bitspower compression fitting, which is also a luxury fitting, the Monsoon one cost me £6.61 and the Bitspower one cost me £7.13. And obviously that would change depending on when you buy and where you buy from. But I just want to say that even though obviously the Monsoon fittings are a luxury fitting with a luxury high-end price tag, they're still not as expensive as some of the fittings out there. Although if you did want an angled Monsoon fitting, which is obviously you've got to get both a rotary and a standard compression fitting, that's about £1 to £2 more expensive than getting an all-in-one Bitspower angled one. But I do think that's understandable given that with the Monsoon obviously you get 2 fittings, the compression and the rotary, and with the Bitspower you only get 1. For those of you who are wondering, what's better, Monsoon fittings or Bitspower fittings, I do think that's a case of, your own personal opinion. I just wanted to cover prices and show you what's available. So concluding my thoughts on the Monsoon fittings, I have to say that I really like how they look, and you can definitely tell they're a higher end product. Now they are more expensive than your average standard fitting, but when compared to other luxury high-end fittings like the Bitspowered ones, they don't seem all that expensive. But with fittings, it's not like with a graphics card where you can, bench it and be like, okay, it sits here, I know it's better than these, worse than these. It's literally a case of what is your budget and what do you personally like. And I do really like these. I mean, I spent over £100 of my own money on Monsoon fittings, and I would definitely get them again. And for that reason, I personally do think they deserve the Creamy Award. Obviously not being able to get the Tasty Award because they're more expensive than, you know, your average standard fitting. But I do really like them, and I do definitely think that if you're planning your water cooling loop and you're deciding what fittings to go for, these are definitely ones worth considering. But that was just my really quick review of the Monsoon range. If you liked the video, hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.